As we age, life isn't always clear sailing. Aging touches each one of us, our parents, our children, and of course ourselves. Dealing with change or loss is an inevitable part of life. This is especially true as we age. When a significant life event, such as the loss of a spouse, touches our lives, the reaction to such an event varies from person to person. But what if such an event causes feelings of depression, anxiety, and isolation? What if these feelings result in difficulties coping? Is an older adult retiring from involvement in regular social activities a red flag? Is a decline in function reason for concern? What role does psychosocial assessment play in addressing anger, moodiness, forgetfulness, loss of hope, social withdrawal, and increased use of alcohol and drugs? Hello, my name is Attorney Ramsey Bahrawy, and welcome to Your Money, Your Life. Joining me to discuss the importance of psychosocial assessment and aging-related issues is Cathy Cress. She's earned her master's in social work and aging from UC Berkeley. She's a well-known authority in midlife siblings, baby boomers, and the aging family. She's the leading national expert in geriatric care management. In addition, she's the author of a handbook of geriatric care management, a text considered to be the Bible of geriatric care management. She also taught and lectured at Stanford, UC Berkeley, University of Florida, and numerous other universities and colleges. Ms. Cress is a prolific writer on aging, midlife siblings, aging dysfunctional families, and geriatric care. She most recently published a book called Mom Loves You Best. Cathy, welcome to Your Money, Your Life. It's great to have you on the program.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. Now, let's start with a concern that I've always had, and that is as people age, their ability to function also changes. Now, I first got to know you online by watching your set of videos discussing psychosocial assessment by professionals. Would you explain to our viewing audience what type of professionals use a psychosocial assessment?
Geriatric care managers use it as a standard tool, but all aging professionals actually do some form of a psychosocial assessment. So it's a standard assessment tool that's really used by all aging professionals.
Okay, now, in doing a geriatric assessment, is there more than one component to that assessment, or is there a functional as well as a psychosocial assessment?
Yeah, you've got it. There's two parts. And it's just basic parts. There's a functional assessment, and then there's a psychosocial assessment. And they're the two parts of a geriatric assessment.
Okay, and would you explain the difference between a functional assessment and a psychosocial assessment, and also under what circumstances it's necessary to do both of these assessments?
Well, you know, if you just use common sense and you think about the word function, a functional assessment is just how you're functioning wherever you are. Like today, I had to prepare to be on this, and I have to have headphones. This is what I have to do to function.
Sure.
And so with an older person, a functional assessment is really how you function at home. It's really basic. Are you able to dress yourself? Are you able to bathe? Can you prepare a meal? Can you eat the meal? And a psychosocial assessment is different. It's how you're coping. So if I would say, oh my gosh, I'm really nervous, I wouldn't be coping well with this interview. So coping with an older person is how are they coping with living at home? Cognitively, how's their mental capacity? That's obviously very important. Socially, are they coping by living at home or wherever they are by having a social network, friends, activities to do? Financially, are they, under a lot of stress because they've got to get a reverse mortgage, or they haven't planned, nobody's helping with their bills, so they're stressed out? And legally, which you and I have been talking about, have they really prepared for aging? Have they done a power of attorney for healthcare? And do they even know what that is? Have they planned with a trust? And if they haven't, are they really vulnerable? So one is basically functioning and the other is coping.
Okay. Is it fair to say that the functional assessment assesses activities of daily living?
Think of a baby, a toddler. I have twin grandson toddlers. So you learn to eat,
Right.
and then you learn to be toilet trained. Those functions really go away in the same order as you get very old. That's a really interesting fact. So ADLs, or activities of daily living, are the very basic things that you need to function in a home. You have to be continent. You have to know where the bathroom is.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be able to prepare a meal. You have to be able to eat the meal. So that's what ADLs. They're again, it's just basic. And IADLs are a little bit different. Is, can you answer the telephone?
Okay. All right.
Can you pay your bills? They're not as basic to survival. If you can't eat, you're not going to survive. If you can't use the toilet, you're going to live in a state of unhealth.
Right.
And
right.
If you can't answer the telephone, probably you'll run into trouble, but not right away. Can you use public transportation is another IDL. So they're the two parts of a functional of basically a functional assessment.
Okay. Older adults want to stay healthier longer, enjoy life while living in their homes. Today, people aged 65 or older represent one of the world's fastest growing populations. It's a population that requires unique medical and social services. This population, especially as its members reach the end of the life cycle, is vulnerable and needs services. This is especially true when dealing with a significant life event, such as the loss of a spouse. Although the reaction to such an event varies from person to person, it's not uncommon for feelings of anger, depression, anxiety, and isolation to appear. However, if these feelings result in difficulties coping, other issues may surface, such as isolation, decline in function, forgetfulness, loss of hope, and increased use of alcohol and drugs. This is where psychosocial assessment can play a significant role. As we learned from my guest, Cathy Cress, psychosocial assessment is an evaluation of a patient's mental, physical, and emotional health. It measures changes in a person's life and coping system. The psychosocial assessment also measures the level of available social supports and seeks to fill holes in the safety net. The psychosocial assessment usually takes the form of a series of questions asked by healthcare professionals. This assessment is used to create a comprehensive picture of the patient in order to map out treatment goals. Most patients have undergone a psychosocial assessment at some point in their lives. For example, the series of questions a doctor and the other medical staff members ask during a yearly checkup are a basic form of psychosocial assessment. With increased longevity, improved medical care, new hips, knees, and heart valves, we will all ultimately need to come to grips with the lessons of aging. So take charge of your future by doing your homework, for as Ben Franklin is quoted as saying, an investment in knowledge always pays the best interest. In closing, thanks to my guest, Cathy Cress, a national expert on geriatric care management, and as always, thank you to you, our viewers, for watching Your Money, Your Life. My name is Attorney Ramsey Bahrawy, Building Your Trusts.